Please welcome Kelly Rowan. We know now that you come by the hottie mom thing honestly. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Well, that's,
thank you.
I love the show. I mean, we've been watching it since the beginning, and now I'm worried that you're going to cheat on Peter Gallagher. I mean, I'm really.
You know what though? But that's not my fault.
What? Because he cheated first.
Well, he started it.
Yeah,
it's not my fault.
But isn't that? See, I always say it to my wife. It's about retaliation, isn't it?
A little bit, maybe. You know, he was off. He wasn't coming home. He didn't even tell me that he was renting a hotel room, and he didn't tell me he was paying for it. You know, what am I supposed to think?
Right, yeah, right. And she was an old flame of his. An
old flame, and he was supposed to marry her. She was the proper Jewish girl that he was supposed to marry. And then he ended up with me, and so I was a little, I got a little jealous. So
of course, there's only one thing to do. Billy Campbell. No,
Well, what are you supposed to do?
No, I don't know. I love your shoes. They're great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, those are great. Are those Prada?
They are. How do you know that?
Well, I'm just a little bit of
You know what? It's so funny. As a woman, I feel like, I'm an intelligent girl, woman. I go into a shoe department, and I lose all sense.
Yeah.
I just,
The same thing happens to me. It's unbelievable. I go into a shoe department, I lose all sense. No, they're terrific. And so this show's a big hit, right? And how does it feel to be on such a hit? I mean,
we had no idea. I mean, it was you used to do a pilot.
Yeah,
you hope for the best. And I guess the moment that I realized that my life was going to change is I was actually in a change room. I was going on a trip somewhere, and I was buying a bathing suit, and I was standing there feeling a little vulnerable, not a lot of clothes on. And this guy said, "Can I get a bigger size of this?" And she went, "Oh my God, it's Seth's mother." And she started screaming, and I was like, "Oh boy, okay. Can I just have the size 6?"
I worked with him. He did a family law, and I played his lawyer.
Oh really?
Yeah. He's terrific.
Oh, he's great.
He's really great. Yeah. And you. It's a hit all over the world. The OC's all over the world now, too.
It is all over the world.
Have you been anywhere and run into fans or anything like that?
I have. Last year, well, the show wasn't airing in Italy yet, but there's going to be. I'm actually going to go back to Italy this summer, and so it'll be interesting to be there now.
So it wasn't on.
It wasn't on last year.
But
I was. What happened was I was actually at Sistine Chapel, and I was standing there, and I heard this, Kirsten,
You're looking at the ceiling.
I was like looking up at this, this beautiful, and there they was like, so I turned around and I thought, okay, and so then they kind of followed me out and around, and then of course they came up to me and said, you look like this woman in the States that's on this show. Is that you? And I did not admit that was me. I actually,
I do that
trying to be incognito.
People say to me, "You look like Tony Danza." I said, "Oh, that happens to me all the time." Now, I understand. I found this out. I didn't know this, but that I was actually a lead-in for you once. You don't realize this, but
really?
You were on Growing Pains, am I right?
Yes.
I was the lead-in for Growing Pains. Who's the Boss was the show that was on before. What part did you play on Growing Pains?
I played Kirk Cameron's girlfriend, but this was actually one of my first jobs in Los Angeles, and I was in the wardrobe fitting, and the woman came up to me and she said, "Well, you're going to be wearing, you're going to need this bra." And it was from Frederick. Now, I just, I'm from Growing Pains.
Okay,
I'm from Canada. I'd never encountered anything like this. And so I said, well, okay. She's like a 3753 was the number. I actually remembered it. It was fun. And so I said, well, why do I need this bra?
Isn't that a famous bra? Isn't that a famous, wasn't that something?
I think it was. It's a padded. It was, it made you look a little more endowed. So I said, well, why do I need that? She goes, well, Kirk Cameron's girlfriends have boobs. And that was my introduction to Los Angeles.
Jeez. I didn't know I really didn't know I was leading into a show like that. Really? Is that true that they actually made you wear something that
they made me wear something so that my
enhanced your already ample beauty? I don't know what I'm talking about. So do you spend a lot of time in New York?
I do.
Yeah?
I love to come back. I actually
Isn't it
used to
great?
live
It's
here.
great.
It's a great city, and I wish I could come here more often. But yeah, I lived here. I lived here when I was about, I guess I was 19, 20, around there.
Really?
In
Where'd
October
you live?
23. Well, at one point, I mean, I stayed in different apartments, of course, because when you're starting acting, you're kind of moving around a lot. But I was in Brooklyn for a while, and I was looking after some cats.
Oh, yeah.
And I got lost
You got lost in Brooklyn.
on the subway.
Lost in Brooklyn on the
yeah,
subway.
which wasn't good.
Well, we knew about that, you know. We actually found that out. And because we never want you to get lost again, look what we found. This is great. I didn't know there was all this Subway stuff. Look, this is Subway with a map on a tote bag. We got you a T-shirt with a map. We got you a cup with a map. We got you a map with a map.
The map. There you go.
We got you an umbrella with a map. And I think we got you some Metro cards. So you're all set, huh? Thank you so much for doing this. It's a pleasure meeting you. The OC's on Thursday nights on Fox, and we'll be right back.